Amber, and today I'm going to share with you some of my views on capital punishment. Capital punishment, also known as the death penalty, is probably one of the most disputed issues in the United States. Arguments for and against it are based mainly on religion, moral, and emotional background. People for the death penalty believe it improves crime by taking criminals off the streets, and it is cheaper than keeping them in prison for life. I personally believe in the death penalty. This is needed to ensure that society. I don't see why you should be able to go out, kill an innocent person, and then just be able to sit in prison for the rest of your life. Capital punishment in the United States is legal in 37 out of the 50 states. No state is able to execute a person who is under the age of 18. In June of 1972, the United States Supreme Court declared capital punishment as cruel and inhumane punishment. The death penalty has been challenged as a violation of the 8th Amendment, which says that the U.S. cannot use cruel or unusual punishment. Due to the fact that punishment is a legal injection of suffering, it must be somewhat cruel. Texas is known for the most executions since the reinstatement of the death penalty in 1976. There were 45 men on death row and 7 were in county jails on a death sentence. All of these sentences were overturned and were commuted to life sentences and was cleared by 1973. I believe that the sentences should never have been overturned because the families of the victims are still suffering, but the killers are rejoicing. In capital conviction charges, nearly 67% of them are overturned due to poor legal counsel and judges who give jurors wrong injections. In 1977, Texas accepted lethal injection as means of execution. Close relatives and friends of the victims were allowed to watch in January of 1966. Prior to 1977, hanging was the means of execution between 1819 and 1973. In 1923, individual Texas counties were responsible for their own execution. The electric chair was introduced as means of death in 1923, and all executions were to be carried out in Huntsville, Texas, where it is still housed today. In July 1964, Joseph Johnson was the last man to be executed by the electric chair in Texas. Just like it says in the Bible, an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth, I feel that should apply in any murder situation. The Bible states in Exodus 21:12, whoever strikes a man a mortal blow must be put to death. Who are we to doubt the Lord? Many people believe that the death penalty is cruel and inhumane. Opponents of the death penalty believe it cheapens life and it puts the government on the same level as the convicted criminals. They don't believe in the death penalty, mainly because they say some people are really innocent. Of course, this is the possibility of wrongly sentencing an innocent man to prison or wrongly finding an innocent man. There has never been any proof of an innocent man being executed, although there are some studies that show in a few cases there is a possibility that someone was wrongly executed. Our judicial system takes many precautions to ensure the rights of an innocent are protected. A person is arrested and given an adding. Evidence must be presented, providing beyond a reasonable doubt that the defendant committed first-degree murder. The defendant must have been in a clear state of mind. After a 5 to 6 week trial, the defendant goes on a second trial to decide whether he deserves the death penalty. After this occurs and the murderer is sentenced to die, this case is automatically appealed to the state Supreme Court. After that, he may file a number of different appeals. Finally, about 10 years later, after every legal attempt and delay tactic has been exhausted, the murder is executed. As should the evidence from this complex process, every responsible precaution is taken to ensure that no innocent man is executed. There are those people who attack the death penalty. They will give emotional speeches about that one innocent man or woman who might get a capital murder conviction. However, these people are forgetting one important factor. They are forgetting the thousands of victims who die every year by the hands of vicious murderers. There are more murderers out on the streets than people who are wrongly convicted, and that is what the country must take into consideration when speaking out against the death penalty and wanting to abolish it. It was put in place for one specific reason, and people tend to forget this when it comes to emotion. Although there is no punishment that can entirely eliminate violent crimes, the same man can be put out in jail for 15 years, how his wife in prison 10 to 15 years. If the judge sentences you to parole, the criminal can stay in jail a bit longer, but that would mean the state and its voters would have to take care of a prisoner for 20 to 25 years. The criminals do not fear punishment anymore because they know they will not die. They know that they will get out in 10 years, and if they murder, that they are not afraid of jail or their punishment. How can we force them to stop killing or stealing if they are not afraid of the punishment we give them? Most rational men are afraid of death. They don't want to die. There are also men that don't fear death but enjoy killing. They must be controlled. But if they are sentenced to life, they are soon to be free to kill again. I'm not saying we should kill all the men in jail and any other criminal in the world, but that is not the answer either. But we must have a death penalty as an option so they will not be afraid to break the law and to control those who don't fear death but love to break the law. My feelings regarding the death penalty are very strong, and I know not everyone feels the same as I do. I tend to look at things from both sides, yet I think I have some viciously taken the life of someone who otherwise would be alive today. It infuriates me, and I want them to be punished to the full extent of the law. I do believe in a fair trial and even the appeals process, but once the appeals are over, I do not believe the accused should be allowed to linger in jail for years waiting his or her fate. Punishment, which are swift and sure, are best defense when it comes to these criminals. I know many people may judge me for my feelings on the death penalty, and that's okay. Hopefully this paper can give you some insight on why I believe the death penalty should stay in the United States. There is no need for us to consider the expenses involved in the death penalty. Certainly human lives are important, for it may be easily yours. We should not abolish capital punishment, but hold our country accountable for properly exercising the death penalty upon those who deserve it. I do not believe that death penalty is cruel or inhumane punishment. It is a well-deserved punishment to a much-needed problem. Thank you.